Spoilers! Dead ahead!
Hello, welcome to Heroes for Sale. Today we're doing an Avengers Age of Ultron special. I've got our panellists here today, Ilan, Day, Lucy and Aubrey at the end there. And we're going to talk all about the amazing movie that's come out. Amazing smashed box office records. And I'm going to throw it open to the group straight away just to tell us what you think about the film, just in general. Were you excited?
Which film?
It was the second one, wasn't it?
Is this Ultron?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we've seen it, haven't we?
Yeah.
Yeah, we've all seen
You've
Ultron.
all seen it, haven't you?
Yeah. No,
Different times.
Is that the one with
Yeah.
Yeah.
The one with the robot that kills people.
Ah.
Spoilers. We must let you
Barney.
know there are spoilers in this little chat here. But things that worked. I mean, Aubrey, I know you had some thoughts on what worked.
I really like the way they made Hawkeye a better character. I think he got the short shrift in the first film. He got possessed by Loki. You know, he hadn't had a solo film. He got made to be Loki's kind of Deus Machina to do stuff. So I was really enjoyed the way that they did give him a backstory. Then I started remembering I was watching a Joss Whedon film, and they give him too much of a backstory. And I loved.
He's kind of like the Ringo of the Avengers.
Yeah,
so it's nice that he gets a bit of.
He was from the film, but in the comics, he's
He's a
big
core
deal.
part, isn't he? Yeah.
So it's good that they gave him a bit more of that.
I literally, because me, Ellen, and Lucy went to see it, and I tapped her on the shoulder and just went, "They're gonna kill him," because it set up the whole movie.
The moment
like
you meet the family,
like you meet
they're
his
gonna die.
family. Then there's actually a sound bridge where he's looking at a picture of his family on a photo, and it says "die" over that shot. It's like we're all gonna die or something like that, and it's him who's the end of that. And you basically go, you know he's gonna kill someone to create pathos. It's what Joss Whedon does, and Thor's got a movie, Captain America versus Iron Man's coming out, so they're very dwindling down on the list of who they're going to kill
But
off.
Hawkeye deserves a movie, in my opinion.
I think that a Hawkeye movie would be amazing, or even a Netflix series. Like he could
Base it
if
off
they
that
could-
fraction run and kind
Yeah,
of have that feel to
that's
it.
exactly
That
that.
would be amazing.
Like the Fraction run, if they could convince Renner to downgrade to TV, do the Fraction run as a TV series, that'd knock everything out the park.
Yeah.
But you're sitting there watching it and you're like, oh fuck, they've built him up so much. And I really loved the double bluff of it, obviously. Spoilers, Quicksilver getting killed as opposed to him.
I saw the spoiler of that, so I went into
so
the
you already
film.
knew.
I knew Hawkeye wasn't going to die. I knew it was Quicksilver.
I
And
thought
was
that was
sitting
a lazy
there
death.
thinking, I didn't get attached to him. Everyone seemed to have loved Quicksilver. I just thought I was going to die. So
Well, with Hawkeye though, I went a little bit darker than you guys because I'm a big fan of the Ultimates. So anyone who's seen the Ultimates will know, or read the Ultimates will know that it's what happens to his family is the most devastating thing you've ever read, and how he reacts to that makes him an amazing character.
Yeah.
Because I was never
ripping his fingernails out and
killing people with fingernails. That was just. But either way, when I saw his family, I instantly kind of felt ill because I was like, no, don't do it, man. Don't do it with him.
Are they going to
Don't
go
do
that far?
it.
He's suddenly going to have family death. Yeah.
Because the thing is, we knew somebody somewhere had to die because there's a lot of criticism of Marvel films that nobody dies. Every film has somebody kind of dying, but it's okay, they're not dead really. So somebody had to die in this
You
film.
don't need deaths on a film, do you?
No, not really, you know.
but-
Everyone can live forever.
But that
Everyone's
kind of
complaining
upsetting
about that
slow
in comics
motion
all the
moment,
time.
like,
yeah, come back from the dead.
Kill people,
I mean, he
kill
was
people.
funny as well. You know,
Yeah,
the final win
I
on Hawkeye
yeah.
that was worked. It was funny.
I
It's meant to
love-
be funny. Like in the comics, you get Spider-Man and Hawkeye, and they're bouncing off each other with jokes, and that's what Hawkeye's meant to be. First film.
But it's the
first
first
film. He's a ball.
It's the first time they've actually and again the out would be he was possessed, so he wasn't himself.
Yeah.
Which is it's a shitty out because they didn't ever you didn't know if anyone went to cinema, if you had not known anything about comics, you just went to the cinema, Hawkeye's never going to be your favourite Avenger. And he should be some kid's favourite Avenger.
Yeah,
So he
surprisingly.
kind of went to the way to
He
actually
had a face
get
like
in
a
there.
smacked arse in the first one as well. I thought.
I
No.
would have loved
Oh,
it in the
so-
first film.
no,
No,
like
that's
he's-
so mean.
I like
You're
him,
not
but
the
he
only
looked like
one.
he was
That was a
getting left
personal
out.
attack.
He looked like he was getting left out. I thought.
Yeah,
he was
But I love that he actually joked about that during the film though. He was actually talking, basically breaking the fourth wall, kind of like criticising himself as the character who's just running around shooting arrows.
When he stabs Scarlet Witch in the head and he's like, I've done that. It's obviously it's a joke that plays, but it works better because you go, oh, all the shit that he had in the first film. Go on, what were you going to say?
You're not the only one to like Hawkeye. Since the first Avengers film, the Matt Fractions runs come out, and that attracted people who didn't read comics before. Obviously, they must have seen Hawkeye somewhere. So for some reason, from Avengers 1, people who've never read comics have decided to start reading Hawkeye, and
it's a good, and again, it's good that it's such a good comic.
it
Like
happened
that
that the fact that story was good.
That whole run, and also
helped.
like the way that they use Kate Bishop in it as well.
Yes,
and it's
that's
like
good.
it's a really good, it's a good comic to get new people who are coming from the film into.
And Hawkeye
It is
Deadpool,
one I would
considering
always-
Day hates Deadpool, you've actually read Hawkeye versus Deadpool.
And it was actually good.
And it was actually
well.
good. It's one of the
Oh
funniest
my
books
God.
of last year. Yeah, wasn't it? In your
I
opinion?
enjoyed it. I mean, it wasn't amazing, but it was good.
Yeah.
I was going in thinking, Deadpool, it's going to be crap, it's just going to be jokes for the sake of it. But no,
Yeah, plays out in a nice
it was
fashion,
a
doesn't
good story.
Yeah. Back to the Avengers.
Yeah.
What
That was a
worked?
bit of a tangent then.
Yeah, Lucy, what worked for you out of the Avengers Ultron?
For the film itself, James Spader was just my hero. I adore him, and I actually went in the cinema forgetting he was in it. So when Ultron first appears and he's this broken robot and he just starts talking, my pants got a little bit wet. I'm so
Whoa.
sorry.
Okay.
I just
Well, he's got a baritone voice, hasn't he?
12-year-old boys at home.
I peed myself with excitement.
That's not
That's not what you said.
That's what the internet
And that is not what the
is
internet
clicking on
heard.
right now.
Okay, let's bring this. What about Ultron was it that you really liked, apart from James Spader's voice?
No, I didn't say I liked Ultron. I said I liked James Spader.
James Spader was very time.
No, but I really did like Ultron. I didn't like the way his mouth moved. That was weird.
I didn't like that at all.
I
I think he
liked it,
should
I
have.
I thought
enjoyed
that
it.
made it where you could hear where it was coming from.
But
I
metal
was
doesn't
worried.
move like that.
Because I wasn't. Well, I mean, I got to admit, I was expecting it to be more like a Transformers visor kind of thing, moving up and down. But I'm glad that they did that because they get to play off his voice.
I helped it with the characterization. I mean, he is the personification of Tony Stark's wit, and you can see it rolling off his lips. We're savouring some of those lines. You know, I can't physically throw up in my mouth, but you know.
I think if they didn't do it, they would have lost out on James Spader's voice.
There's also
No,
the
because you
Bane
could see that
disconnect.
the robot had his mannerisms and everything. That's what
Yeah.
I noticed, and I really liked that. But I just think his mouth didn't need to move in that way.
I felt it should have been a gaping maw with red light, like it is in everything. That's what
Yeah.
Ultron is.
I don't know. That's a transition from
But-
like 2D to 3D moving.
But
Isn't
I've
it?
seen it's in animation. It's been like that, and it's been sort of the Kirby Crackle like energy effect coming from
Yeah.
as well from when he's
I
talking.
just think
that.
when you watch,
I didn't
you've
think
got the Bane disconnect, and you know,
Bane,
Sam
exactly, yeah.
Raimi always favoured villains who had a face as opposed to like a mouth, like a mask. Because the minute that you don't see any facial recognition in a character, you disconnect to it. You don't really get as drawn in.
it
I
did
think the
make
fact
him
that they
feel
made
more alive. 'Cause
Yeah.
he's an artificial intelligence, so the way he was actually funny made him feel more alive.
He built
I
himself
remember
and he's living the human condition, isn't he? That's
Yeah.
the point. He wants to regenerate. That's why he brings out, you know, what ends up being Vision.
Yeah, he wanted to live in a human body.
Yeah.
It's almost Frankenstein's
See,
monster.
that
He
makes-
wants to become human.
Yeah, I think it makes sense that Vision's mouth moves because he's basically 3D printed on a human mold with vibranium. So that makes sense.
You know, that old trick.
is
Yeah,
mouth
the
moves.
most normal
What didn't
sentence
make sense-
anyone's ever said
What
in the
didn't make
world.
sense was Ultron had some really pert buttocks. I don't know whether you've noticed that little bit where
I
don't know.
he
No,
had Black Widow
no,
locked up.
didn't see.
He did.
So we've had
Yeah, Black
moist
Widow
James
locked up.
Spader and fucking
James Spader's a sex god
Yeah,
The
now.
bit where he had
that
Black
is.
Widow locked up and he was like, I'm glad you've woken up because he's working on
And
his
he
body.
walks
And there was
away.
a zoom in on his arse. And I was like, damn,
that's 'cause
Ultron's
the-
been working out.
They're trying to make him Robo Loki, aren't they? They're trying to
yeah,
get that.
yeah, yeah. They get that
That's
sex
what that
symbol
is.
in there.
So all the Tumblr fangirls can be on. You don't sound like that.
Yeah. That was an amazing noise. That was more AI.
Yeah.
Can we rent
I was
Ultron
channeling
only?
Ultron,
Yeah.
the proper Ultron who's got no character.
So, Dave, what worked for you in the Age of Ultron movie?
Vision
Vision.
was amazing.
Yeah.
I'm
War
actually-
Machine was good as well. I like War Machine. He wasn't in it enough,
Yeah.
but I liked his bits where he was trying to show that he's a funny guy, he's a big deal. But
Yeah.
to the Avengers,
The
he's
human
not.
side of them was good. I mean, that's one of the things that I thought was brilliant about the show was the human side of them. Whereas previous films, it was all like you wanted to see Iron Man and Captain America team up and fight things, but it was their human sides and the things that they're doing, kind of like when they weren't fighting, that I thought was brilliant in this.
Yeah.
I actually prefer when they were out of combat than when they were in combat.
That's right.
I mean, my personal favourite thing about the show was probably the romance aspect of it, the love interest that we weren't expecting, because after the end of Avengers, everyone was talking about Black Widow and Hawkeye, you know, because they thought that there was something there, but
But do you not think the romance was a bit shoehorned in? Like it wasn't very well
yeah.
written to organically happen. It was just like, oh, well, this is a new thing that's happening because we're trying to make this new storyline happen. So
I
forget
felt
about
that
this.
way a little bit. Yeah.
I felt like they might have been pandering to a growing female audience because I've been to see it a few times now, and every time I've been to see it, I'm taken with how many girls in the audience, girlfriends of boys, but also so the girlfriends they go watching it and they're like, this girl sat next to me going, that's cute all the time, and that was the main moment where
I
she was
was
like,
there and I wasn't a girlfriend. I was just a girl
exactly,
there.
but it's a growing audience for these films, isn't it? That are female, also comic readers, as we've said before on previous channels.
Well, I'm so glad you're all dissing my one thing.
Oh, no,
I just want to say.
I actually agree with you. I thought
You just don't want it on camera.
No, I thought the fighting was the worst part of the film.
Yeah?
I liked the more human sides. I just thought certain things weren't written as well as they could have been.
Yes. I mean, that is a growing criticism online that a lot of the kind of like conversations weren't carried out, particularly between the kind of the romantic couple. But I still like that for the first time out of, I don't know how many, is it 3-4 films that Black Widow's been in? But this is the first time she's actually got a character that can kind of like, that you can see spread over like an arc.
I think she fleshed out well in Winter Soldier.
Yeah.
I don't know.
There's the throwback line at the very end, which she says to Fury, and whether you've come up with it now or whether they always intended it, she says, you sent me to recruit him, meaning the Hulk, which, if you watch it, it's one of the best scenes in the first Avengers movie. Did you expect this to happen? And he does a piffy Samuel L. Jackson line, Nick Fury line. But I actually don't think it was shoehorned in. I think if you see it there, they are the two monsters, inverted commas. You know, she's the only confirmed killer, not in a war environment.
Yeah,
he's a guy who's racking.
He's a spy.
Yeah, he's a guy who's racked with guilt. I actually completely bought it, but also the fact that you don't buy it, your Banner, which is another way, it's a Marvel trait as opposed to another thing. So Peter Parker is the everyman. Banner is like, when they're at the bar and she's basically seducing him and flirting with him, and he can't believe his fucking luck that she's flirting with him, and he's like, yeah, straight away, yeah, we will do, can we pick this up? Like, you want to, because, so that actually gives it that everyman feel, which Marvel's
so you're
always...
relating to Banner.
Yeah. I've got I've got an anger in me. I'm going to jump out that window.
I'm the jumping out the window guy!
It was a lot better than the whole Pepper Tony Stark
That's
romance.
a Spider-Man thing.
From previous, from
our
movies.
Yeah.
A lot better.
Yeah.
Well, the things about this one though, again, as well as that working out for the fans, it also says more about the Black Widow that you got Captain America, who's this gorgeous, tall, handsome guy. Then you've got Thor. I'm saying more about myself now. I don't know.
Yeah. So you like this?
Will, don't put any like music over this, okay? Thor is this kind of like masculine, long-haired, kind of like Adonis. But out of all these people, she goes for the person who she even says is the monster kind of thing, which says more about herself than I think anything else.
That's who she.
It's a very tender moment. The whole lullaby thing that really sucked me in.
I did like that scene. That was good. That was probably the strongest scene with them in, I think, because they didn't say anything. It just kind of, you saw it and it was powerful.
And from a CGI point of view as well. I mean, I loved watching. I mean, that first opening sequence kind of thing. I think that was the best moment. I think watching his face react to that, which is very difficult to kind of capture anyway. But there was something in that which kind of I thought was beautiful to watch. Yeah. Which I think why I kind of bought into the whole relationship thing. Yeah, I thought it was a beautiful thing.
It was a beautiful thing.
Beautiful thing.
I love it. So that's something that worked. Sorry, Dave.
Can we talk about Vision?
You did try and talk about Vision, there, didn't you? Vision was amazing.
And how inevitable his death is going to be. Because Thanos is coming for the Infinity Gems and one's in his head.
Yeah, that's true. Is he going to end up with Scarlet Witch as well? Do you reckon?
Yeah. Well, I like that because she was giving him the eye like, you robo stud.
And the other moment, she's dying in the car. He swoops in. He's the one who swoops in and saves her. You know, they're on the team together at the end.
The best bit.
The man can pop a cape out of his arse as well, which is always
he's just floated like Dr. Manhattan to that window silently and thought, I need to change a clobber. And he just changed his clothes.
And it's got to be green, skin tight latex because.
Yeah. And then he thought, you know what will set this off? A nice yellow cape.
Well, it's like what Aubrey said after we saw it. You were like, he is this trying to have this human side, and even though you think of the Incredibles where they go no capes because capes are bad, he looks up to Thor so much that he goes, I need a cape.
Well, that's the beat. That's the beat that sells the cape, isn't it? Like they actually show you it in close up. He looks at Thor and it grows out his back, and it's a really subtle moment in a movie that's fucking over the top. because
To be fair,
They
I
have
didn't
to
even
be.
Two
notice
F words
that
out
we-
of you now, Aubrey. I'm just letting you know as a moderator.
We're keeping
there's
score.
3 left and
Yeah.
Sin bin.
They're out.
Yeah.
Is this a
Wait,
throwback
wait,
to the
wait, calling
Captain
out
America
your
thing?
Where it's
Language!
Whereas it's
You
that,
kiss your mother with that mouth.
it's that thing he looks at for and he wants
Yeah.
to be the idealised human. So he grows a cape, but it's so subtle a moment that, I mean, you just said you didn't
I
catch
didn't.
it.
I just thought he's got a cape in the comics.
No,
Oh,
yeah,
there we
he
go.
actually goes, looks at them, and it grows a similar, like, shoulder padded thing.
It was
Yeah.
subtle. It was
The
subtle. The
little
other
things
subtle
of that.
moment was, for me, watching Tony Stark's reaction to him. We talked about moist pants before. I've never seen a look on Robert Downey Jr.'s face in the whole of all the movies he's been in as when he's looking at Vision when he walks past. He's like,
I made this.
You've not seen Kiss Kiss Bang Bang then.
well, there we
you
go.
know.
That's not in the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Yeah.
You just said his entire career. You never
I
seen his
did say
facial
it.
expression. Yes, you did.
I said it in
rewind,
these Marvel
rewind.
Yeah,
My,
we'll see about that.
my favourite bit in the whole thing is where they're all like, why should we trust him, why should we trust him? And he just picks Thor's hammer up
Yeah.
and passes him it.
But
That
again,
was the
in
best
terms
thing.
of story writing, we'd already, or most people had already seen that clip that they released, which was the jokey bit, and it's a really
No
cool
one could
bit.
move it.
No one could move it. But in actual storytelling beats, that's so economic storytelling. So you have a scene where everyone's joking, they're all pissed, they're trying to pick up his hammer, and then another scene is he just has it in his hand. And
Like, it's not
no
just
one,
the arm.
no one. It doesn't actually. No one goes, oh my god, he can pick up the hammer. That means he must be worthy, and we should trust him. It's just a played for not, because that's essentially what the scene is.
I don't know what the big deal is though. I've passed my dad his hammer loads of times dead casually like that, and no one ever looked at me like, wow,
You should lead us into battle.
Yeah.
Ultron.
can't believe you're a robot and you just picked the hammer up.
Yeah.
No, but
It's
yeah,
just a shame, isn't it?
amazing. That was my
So
favourite
that's what
bit.
worked with the movie.
Yeah.
But also, I think you've got some opinions, haven't you, on what didn't work with the movie. Anybody want to lead? You've got some things that Ilan.
I was going to respond to what everyone else said first. What I didn't like about the movie, I thought out of all of the films, this is definitely not a film that you can just drop into and watch. You had to have watched everything before it. And I think, as a consequence as well, I think Marvel have accepted that you don't need an explanation for anything anymore. It's just like, yeah, this person has powers. And I personally wasn't...
Where did you get that from?
Well, the fact
Who
that...
had powers and then they hadn't previously explained it?
Well, they just kind of, it's like the origins of things. For example, with Vision, it's like, I mean, I know that he can phase through walls and he can phase through things, but during that big fight kind of thing, you just saw this weird glow and he's doing something, and then there's another bit where he's fighting and he's doing
yeah, I
something.
see it.
So there's so many things happening on screen that you just accept, all right, this is just a crazy...
I noticed the
battle.
phasing thing, but my mate who I went to see it with, I'm not sure he knew that Vision had that power, so he probably didn't even register.
It
that
didn't
that was a
communicate.
thing.
No, it didn't communicate that, because I was thinking when I was watching it, I was waiting. You know, especially when he went up to that window, I was waiting for him to do something really cocky, like float through the window or something, like, just to show. By the way, I can actually phase through things. But he didn't. You know, he waited until he was fighting and then he did it. And I just think that in terms of fleshing out the characters, there wasn't as much there, because you've accepted the core five. You've accepted them characters. But now they're throwing people in left, right, and centre. You know,
Which
it's
they've
just-
got to do to a certain
they
extent.
do, but I think you lose out on character and personality. And again, when Quicksilver died, I didn't care that much, and I like Quicksilver. I like Quicksilver as a character,
Yeah,
but
I
Oh,
didn't
he's
care
dead.
because I seen a spoiler who's gonna die, so I think I just didn't get attached. But they did mention at the end of the Winter Soldier film in the end credit scene that they had powers, so it was kind of hinted at in that.
Well,
so
they
you've
said
seen
that-
what their powers
yeah.
are going to be, and you've seen them trickling with. So okay, you can accept that the miracles they've kind of said that already. I don't think that needed to be explained. Vision's
yes and
phasing
no.
power.
I mean,
agree
right
with,
now,
but-
I know Scarlet Witch is one of my favourite characters in the Marvel Universe. I think she's absolutely brilliant. After reading the Ultimate series, I've loved that character for years. But
Wet
there's
pants.
no... Yes.
What?
Wet pants.
Wet pants. It's a
We
thing.
don't have to make
Hashtag
this a
wet
thing,
pants.
so...
It's your catchphrase.
I love Scarlet
You'll
Witch.
know
Unless
if
we
I
share
get
it round, then it will become a thing.
I've loved Scarlet Witch because of her powers, but it wasn't explained. In fact, the only way it was explained was that she's weird, which was actually the phrase that they used
To
to
be
kind of
fair,
define what
she
she
is
does.
weird.
Yeah, but that doesn't-
Unless you can't say in the movie, by the way, Scarlet Witch's powers is she can alter reality to whatever she wants.
she
It's
messes
too
with probabilities and
easy.
chaos magic.
Yeah,
But
but when she
Yeah.
created a force field around things, which was the first time she actually did that, it was just a convenient power
Well,
that
she
came out of
is.
nowhere.
She's a Deus Ex Machina. Really.
Yeah,
She
she's a
literally-
walking Deus Ex
she
Machina.
can do whatever you need her to do. But her character has always been that. The Ultimate version's a little bit tweaked. But the Marvel Universe
Yeah,
one,
she's
she's
always
about
been-
20 different origins, and she literally has got no defined powers. So
It's
she's
a
got
valid-
lots of powers.
But
They add a
that
new
then
one to it
turns
every
into-
time they need
It's
it
a
to
valid
do one.
point that Lil makes. I think
It
you-
is
No,
a valid
no,
point
in
that
the
Ilan
film-
makes.
No, in the film, it is. Because if you're going into again, especially like the main point of if you're going into this fresh, so you've not seen the extended scene on the first Avengers or Winter Soldier or whatever, like you are literally fucked. You
Yeah.
imagine taking a date.
Third
That's
one
3 F
language.
words now.
Gone.
You're
yeah,
off
just
the next panel.
chair,
sorry.
just gone.
That's what's
But
happening.
imagine
So
take-
what? No,
imagine
sorry,
taking a
that's it
date.
now. You are fucked.
I'm
that's
bringing
what
a
you said.
swear jar with
Oh,
us
yeah,
next
we'll do
time.
that next
We're gonna
time.
be rich.
There's kids watching this, man. It's a 12A. There is. It's on YouTube. They've got their phones in primary school. Which Marvel universe are you living in?
Yeah, man.
Let him go. He's
Fucking
defending
sick.
me. He's defending me. I need someone in my
Not
corner.
defending. We've already said you had a valid point. So
Yes, that was patronising. Anyway,
I remember
go.
you saying you said something else that didn't work was the opening for you, which I really quite liked.
Oh,
No,
it's
no,
awful.
no.
I
Right.
liked it.
The whole
Yous
opening
all agree
scene-
that?
Go on, you say
That's
it.
because you went on the second day.
Yeah.
You went on the first and we seen it. It was boss.
Yeah, it was
We've seen
It
it.
picked it
And
up.
we've seen it. And it
For the moment, the first shot, when I
like, you don't see it on the second day.
It's the first day only thing. That.
I thought it picked up from the pace and everything. It picked up from the end of the last movie. It was great.
bad CGI,
Yeah,
bad
no,
CGI.
no,
bad
No. You were in the wrong film, man.
We were in the. I was in 3D IMAX at Midnight Shower, and mine was the optimum version of the film.
Yeah. And we'd had some coffee. It was great.
You're gonna go green in a minute.
The 3D glasses
I
ruined
think
it
it- I
then.
think
You
it
weren't
worked.
looking at it clearly. You were like,
Look,
look, it's
I was
coming on
looking
your
at it
face.
so close, I could see Hulk's bicep flying past my face
Well,
like.
that's exactly it. Because
action.
you were looking at that so much, you forgot to look at his face and his body and everything
I'm
else.
sorry,
Well,
Mr.
it's a
Romance. I
CGI.
No, I think it worked because you saw them all fighting in unison, and it set up
Yeah.
the end fight.
Yeah,
But that's
scene.
been done before.
That shows
That
they've been
used-
knocking round as a team, going round, infiltrating Hydra, just slapping them
Yeah,
about.
exactly.
They're a fluid machine now.
That's right.
They know
But
what
none
to
of
do.
them- none
it's
of
so
them comes
fast paced, they're just flying through. What's wrong
But
with
that was
I
nowhere
thought
near.
the idea of it, obviously, exactly that. That's why they've done it. You know, jump straight in. We've missed a year or whatever. A team now. They took out 10 Hydra bases. But I sat there in the cinema and I watched it and I went, "Wow, Avengers Age of Ultron. The game's really good." And I had a massive disconnect to it. It was so CGI. It was so stitched together. And everyone's or one of everyone's top 3 favourite moments from the first Avengers was that epic fake digital all-in-one shot where they all fought.
Yeah,
on
that was the
book.
nerdgasm
And it's
scene
like
in the
we're
first
throwing
movie.
that at the very beginning to homage that and even look how they work together as a team. But I felt nothing for it. When I watched it in the first movie, like hairs on the back of my neck, stood up, and I was like, oh my god, they're a team.
I think we have to.
Because if it
we
is
have
about-
to say that you had some kind of bad food before you went into the movie.
Wait,
Some bad
other
reviews,
people I know have said this. Like the question was Thor not available for filming on the first
Yep,
day?
said that, said that.
Did
The
they go and
physics
see it
is
on
Called
the first
it.
day by any chance, or did they go on the second day?
They were in at 1 o'clock in the morning, just all like.
Maybe
popped
you were
up.
just so delirious from lack of sleep. You
Yeah.
didn't notice how bad it was.
I'm not 10. It was only midnight.
But I mean, as far as that kind of like that scene at the beginning, I know you're saying that they're working as a team, but they weren't working as a team. They all had their kind of like their individual shots.
There was a
No, no,
distinctive
no, 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 no,
shot.
no, no.
There was a distinctive shot where all five of them were
You
in
can
a row
CGI
fighting.
something right now.
It was all
Bubble.
in.
Wow. I do my own sound effects. Right. When they did that bit at the beginning, okay, the first thing, it was instantly disappointing because that was the major scene that you got in the first film. But if they were trying to say that's them working as a team, each one of them individually only appeared once on their own in all of it. None of them was working together. It was like, Thor will do this. I'll hit them, I'll jump off, I'll turn into a CGI character and hit them. And then...
I've seen it 3 times now. There's a shot where all 6 of them are flying through.
Yeah.
That's the
that's
whole
the
point of it.
conclusion.
It flows and comes to them.
Yeah,
But
but
have you heard of this thing called teamwork, right? Where
no!
There's one goal.
Obviously not. Have you watched any more battles?
There's one goal. Hulk! It's a crazy thing, right?
No,
But there's one goal, and there's 6 of you. So instead of all firefighting one thing at once,
No.
why don't you all tackle a little small
No,
task
because
and
the
then come back
comparison-
together and
The comparison is...
It's called teamwork!
No, they did teamwork. They did teamwork when they were protecting the button. When they were protecting... When they were protecting the button, right? When they were protecting the button, that's when they were doing teamwork. Because you saw Scarlet doing this, and then straight over his shoulder, you got Iron Man connecting with that attack. And then when you got kind of, again, later on, I mean, I know it was earlier at the beginning of the film, but when you saw Captain America pull up his shield just so that Thor can hit it.
that was
But
teamwork
at
squared.
the beginning,
That was
at the
extra
beginning,
teamwork.
they were still
Okay,
individuals.
okay. I think we're just going to have to put it down to too much beer. Whether that's right now,
Yeah,
or that was a
okay.
few days ago, or it was Thursday night, or whatever
This
it
is
was.
how our Civil
Rap
War
battle.
starts.
It is,
I
isn't
am
it?
not rap battling this. I'm far too afraid of you right now.
So that was...
Stroke my hand and sing me a lullaby, quickly. Oh, okay, I'm calm.
Yes, wait for the extended version.
So that's what I didn't like about it. Next.
Oh, good.
Yeah. Other things that didn't work for it. I mean, I did love it. Is there anything else that didn't work?
It's got the typical Marvel film ending, hasn't it? Like there's some sort of nondescript threat from above. They all have to try, and I don't massively dislike that. I've just read a lot of online criticism pointing
Death from
towards
above
that.
is one of the surest ways to kill people.
Yeah,
It's been well
everything
documented in
seems to get to that point. A big CGI conclusion where they have to take something out, and it's coming from above.
I loved the ending. I mean, people have said to me what they didn't work about it was the climax of the first movie was so much better than this one. But I love the fact that they tore this city up and took it into the air. It was reminiscent of Secret Wars, the graphic novel where Denver, a 6 mile strip of Denver, is carried up into the air. I mean, I thought it was great.
Yeah, I think obviously from a pragmatist Ultron point of view, he's like, well, let's make something. What is the smallest or the thing of land that I can take up to the air to cause the most amount of extinction? It works. I don't know.
The most amount of
extinction. Well, yeah. What's a
it's all or
moderate?
nothing
What's
with
a lowest
extinction,
level?
really,
Yeah,
isn't it?
is the agreed to extinction. But no, it's nothing.
I'm
like,
just a little bit extinct.
But it's so I can see that. I don't. I think they Marvel naturally fall into the same repetition of end 30 minutes. You get the action sequence. The main key players are all. It's cross-cut between them all, and there's some sort of fight with nondescript other characters, and there's a main guy to take out. They might want to try and change that up. In some other way.
They're not gonna.
No,
Thanos is
I
the
think
main
what you're
threat in.
What you're saying basically is the Empire Strikes Back. You want an Empire Strikes Back, where you get that kind of like dark ending, where it's kind of like, what are they gonna do
That's
next?
gonna be Infinity War Part 1, isn't it?
Yeah.
You're gonna see that the Avengers aren't good enough to beat Thanos.
And we've seen infighting as well, I think, in this movie, which is a hint of
Which
something
Civil
dark to
War,
come.
yeah.
Exactly. Okay, so that's... Sorry, go on.
I was just gonna say, the only thing I wanted, and I didn't see, was Falcon.
Yes.
Other than the very, very end scene where you seen him in a new lineup.
Yeah.
There was no Falcon in that end
And
scene.
War Machine.
He's the best new addition since Phase 2.
I actually thought it was wrong when War Machine jumps out. So they actually include War Machine back, and he's like with them. Come on, Anthony Mackie's not going to cost that much. Have him there for the few days to shoot a few things of him flying around with War Machine and helping
To be
him out.
fair though, it's probably harder to film that.
Because, yeah,
Is that not the lead scene?
War
They-
Machine's
they're
all
actually-
CGI.
They're printing money now with Ultron's face on it.
Are they
You
not
could
doing
have
a
had him
rogue, though,
involved in
with
that.
Falcon? Is it not a case of kind of like, okay, well, we did film a lot of our Falcon scenes, but we'll just put that in there?
Well, Anthony
I hope
Mackie-
if
Anthony
it's in the
Mackie
extended cut, I will be so happy.
Anthony Mackie didn't apparently know he was in the movie until he saw the poster and his name was on it. He said that in an interview. He was like, his mate called him up and said, "Your name's on the poster, lads. You're in the movie." So he must have shot a lot more, and that gets us on to our kind of final talking point, I think, which is this extended version. It was announced, wasn't it? That, on the DVD.
Well,
was
I
going
know
to be alternative.
like obviously you read interviews and stuff. Apparently the first cut was 3.5 hours, and the film.
I thought it was going to be. I
The film
thought,
that's
oh
in
my
cinemas is
God.
about 2.5. So
2
there's
hours
an hour
20
that
it
was
is.
cut out.
I was
And
thinking, yeah, I'm going to be sitting here till 3:30. I'm already
And they've
tired.
announced an extend already. The DVD is like there's an alternative ending. There's an extended cut. How much of that hour ever makes it or not, no. But there's stuff in trailers that wasn't in it.
Yeah.
And I imagine it'd mostly be around the non-action CGI bits. So the party scene where they had most of the core cast, and also the Scarlet Witch influenced
Nightmare scene.
nightmares backwards stuff.
Yeah.
So you've got like
More
Agent
Nightmare.
Carter, Thor, and you can use Hamidal. Obviously, Idris Elba was involved, and you can have Falcon and stuff. So when they've brought them in, those would have been the things that got padded.
Because it was blinking you miss it, wasn't it? With
Yeah.
Thor's dream, it was blinking you miss it, even when he went back into the spiritual.
I thought that was a bit crap though. I think if they'd left on Andy more, I'd have got bored.
I could have watched it a little bit longer.
Yeah.
I could have had it been explained a little bit, but obviously I know that that's going to be a future film, and I need to watch a future film to understand what that. And if anything, that feels more like a comic than anything else.
Yeah.
That
This is setting up the next
It may as
story.
well have had a
arc.
little box saying "See Thor number 246." You know, because
I will
have
see
no-
Thor number 246. Thanks very much. I've got that.
So what else are we going to see in this extended version, do we think?
The woman in the cave.
Yeah.
Well, the trailer had a woman in a cave.
Yeah.
We don't know, nondescript. People were saying it was possibly Black Panther's sister.
Daughters, yeah.
But it's obviously to do with Thor, because we've now seen the movie,
Yeah.
so we know what that is. So that's pure Ragnarok setup, like his new movie. So whatever that is, Enchantress or someone, or something.
I can't
like
see
that.
them casting somebody like that, but maybe hitting
And,
towards it.
yeah.
Definitely.
So then, and it's going to set up. When I was watching it, obviously Ragnarok is about the end of times. I went, oh fuck, oh f. Before Andy kicks me off. No,
There's a quiz,
Thor
just sorted out with
Thor
me,
could
pal.
die. Thor could be one of the guys who dies, because everyone's going, no, he can't die because they've announced his new film. But they could start the third film from him being dead and coming through Ragnarok that way.
Yeah.
Obviously didn't go that way, but so there was a lot of setup for that one. So they were basically, you're trying to do, this is the new Marvel blueprint, isn't it? You're trying to do a film, but also at least launch 2 other films off of it. So there was Civil War and Thor Ragnarok launched off of this. So I think a lot of the extra material will be related to that.
I hope we see more of Wakanda in the extended version, because we only seen like mines and stuff, and it's like,
A few ships.
It
I
was
mean,
alluded
fair
to,
enough.
wasn't it?
Ultron hit Claw with that karate chop, bang. You need a sound thing for your arm.
Yeah.
But where was Africa? Where
It's a
was
brave
the
thing,
people?
isn't it?
Where
They're
was-
going to be brave to bring in this Wakanda, which is the most civilized nation on Earth, isn't it? I mean,
Yeah, but they're kind of walled off. We're so advanced.
Well, yeah.
Well, I was wondering how many people do you think are ignorant enough to think that there is a Wakanda?
What's the same as Skokovia or Skokovia, whichever one, the nondescript Eastern European city.
At first, I thought it said Slovakia, and I was like, okay. And then
Yeah,
when they
no.
said it later, I was like, oh, that didn't say Slovakia. That's made up. It's
no
like
more midnight
Latveria.
screenings for you, Jay. Yeah, no, but yeah,
But
the Black
yeah.
Panther movie has been announced. That's going to come, so Wakanda's going to be.
They've
Obviously-
said we're going to see T'Challa, maybe not as Black Panther, but we're going to see T'Challa in Civil War, which is interesting. He's an amazing character. He's got to be part of the Avengers lineup in the next Avengers film, because he's too integral to...
And he's been
to-
cast. And
He's been cast, and he's a good actor.
I can't remember his name, but he's in the James Brown biopic, and he's brilliant in that.
Yeah.
And they ordered him out at one of these, like Comic Cons or one of the expos where they basically bring people to the stage, and he was there. So he's been involved with Marvel for at least 12 months. He's making the public appearances already, and he's involved. They're locking them down to do that.
That's what made me think he was going to be in it.
Yeah.
I thought he was going to be in it, at
Yeah, I
least
thought
in
so.
some way.
Some
They
capacity.
mentioned him in the Winter Soldier movie. I thought, yeah, okay. But they're just giving us trickles
So the
of Black Panther.
Panther's quite tied in with Reed Richards and all that, isn't it? The negative space. They have a lot of interplay. So
It
maybe
is
that's
in the
part of it.
comics, but they can't touch
That's
on
what I'm
that.
saying. Maybe they're waiting a little longer to see what they can make happen.
They need, basically with the Spider-Man thing that they've arranged with Sony, they need to realise how good that was, and Fox just need to go, do you know what? Let's work something out with Marvel. Give them X-Men, give them Fantastic Four. Because once Phase 3 is over and Thanos is beaten, what have they got?
Yeah, where
You
have they
need Doctor Doom.
gone? Or Galactus.
So they need...
That is the
yeah.
thing I'm actually
You need
most
that-
excited about seeing in the come alive in the Marvel Cinematic Universe is Doctor Doom. I've been waiting for ages.
Doctor
now. I've
Doom's
seen-
the most important villain in
Yeah.
the Marvel Universe.
It doesn't,
Fox
although the
owned it.
Fantastic Four trailer looks good, it doesn't quite look like they're going to do Doom the proper justice that he
Yeah.
needs.
Well, going back to other scenes that we want to see in the extended cut, again, you mentioned Ulysses Claw. I would like to have seen more of Claw, because I know he's a cool character, and I know it's a great actor as well, so I would like to have seen more scenes from that.
Yeah, he really
But
adds a gravity
again,
to
I
the
imagine
situation.
he's going to be in Black Panther. So.
Lucy, what would you like to see from the extended version, or from coming in from a
You don't
more
want to see
cinematic
anything, no.
universes?
Cuts. Do you want to see less of the movie she saw?
Do you think it was a bit long?
More
Was it-
Spader.
I did think it was a bit too long. I realised when you start wondering what time it is, the film's doing something wrong.
Yeah.
And that did happen every now and again. So I know there's a lot that you could have added to the film, but I don't think the film needed to be any longer. So
It tops 2 hours, doesn't it? Which is, fairly hefty.
I it was longer than.
Yeah, 2 hours. 20.
2 hours.
Yeah.
I did say top 2 is 2
Yeah,
hours. That
I
means
agree
it's
with
more
you.
than 2
All
hours.
right.
If we're gonna get serious,
Conventional wisdom.
We've
yeah.
gone on here for quite a long time. You know.
I'm indifferent. I try not to get excited about reveals and upcoming things and additions. I like to wait. I like them to make what they make, and then I let
Well
it
played.
comes to me and I watch it. And
Yeah, I mean, again, I felt the same way with
Accept what it
Daredevil. You know, it's like you don't watch all these things, you don't build it up, and it is a nice surprise.
The one thing we haven't mentioned, which we're all looking forward to, is Guardians of the Galaxy 2.
Guardians, yeah.
Set up at the end, that really works, right? And, you know, we can round it up. We can also tell people not to stay till the end credits, can't we? 'Cause
Yeah,
there's no end
there's-
credits scene.
Yeah.
But if you've
Mid
watched
credits.
this, you might not
Yes,
as well watch
we
the film.
checked it
because
out.
we've told
Did you
everyone.
guys check it out? Did you stay to the end?
No,
I was.
You left.
I was
you
waiting
trusted
outside.
them.
I
You
trusted
left.
them. I was waiting outside like Andy, just leave.
Yeah,
'Cause
I was in a separate screening today, and I was like, "Is there an end credits?" And he's
They
like,
could
"No,
never
it's
do
fine,
it again
I'll
now, though, because if they ever do it again, I'll be so miffed with them. Because
I'll
now,
never leave.
No, he purposely said I don't want people sitting there after the mid-credit scene waiting
what
for the
when?
end-credits.
So Whedon said that, but any other Marvel film is like, do you?
Yeah, but he wouldn't say go
One
on.
does not simply leave a Marvel movie.
I reckon he done it to
end.
spite that meme because I did, and guess who was right?
All right,
Me.
okay.
I was right.
So you have to leave
Standing
now.
outside,
You
happy
have
that
to
my
leave
arse was no
every
longer
time
sore.
now. You have to leave every time now. You can't stay.
No, I'm going to stay for every other, unless they tell me specifically to leave, because I'm a man who obeys order,
But what happened?
and order is the best thing.
But what happened with the end of the first Avengers film? Wasn't there like a scene that you only got in America? The shawarma scene.
Shawarma, yeah.
So-
But it wasn't in the English.
No,
one.
it wasn't. Yeah. So they could do like a double bluff still.
They still-
They could say you guys in the UK, you don't have to stay till the end. But if you're in America, you're all right.
So much of what we're talking about is hypothetical. And tune in next time where we'll bring more great ideas from comics.
We got more of this.
We have got more of this, but we did.